Welcome back, fellow maidens. Or should I say, Tarnished. On February the 21st, Elden Ring Shadows of the Erd Tree trailer was released. So today we are going to be discussing the Shadowlands and what inspired Miyazaki to create a land so dark and mysterious. So let's take a deep dive and revisit what is said. A place obscured by the Erd Tree, where the goddess Marika first set foot, a land purged in an unsung battle, set ablaze by Mesmer's flame. It is to this land Miquella departed, divesting himself of his flesh, his strength, his lineage, of all things golden, and now Miquella awaits the return of his promised Lord. So, the Shadowlands. The Shadowlands is a place obscured, meaning it's concealed. So we understand that the Erd Tree concealed the Shadowlands. Miyazaki states in an interview, the Shadowlands in which the DLC takes place are sundered from the lands between, where the main story takes place. It has been removed from and hidden from the outside world, and this veil is a symbol of that. Let's have a look into what the Shadowlands could be inspired by. Shadowlands can also be referred to as the underworld. The underworld is linked to the unknown or the unseen. It's speculated that Miyazaki was inspired by Norse mythology when creating Elden Ring. In Norse mythology there is a place called the underworld, which translated means Nephilim. It is described as a place that is cold and dark, a misty world of the dead. So this tells me that the Shadowlands could be a place where the dead are sent to. We also see this reflected in the trailer when talking about those who lost wars. Continuing on, Nephilim was ruled by a goddess by the name Hel, and it was said that Nephilim was a place into which evil men passed after reaching the region of death. It is situated below one of the roots of the world tree. Now this tree is important to our theory because the tree named Yggdrasil, and forgive me if I'm not saying that correctly, is described as being divine, much like the golden Erd Tree. Nephilim contained a well, named Vergelmir, from which many rivers flowed. Now, we see these rivers mentioned below the tree Yggdrasil, and these sound somewhat similar to the great rivers we find under the lands between, the Sofria River and the Ainsel River. Vergelmir, which I want to point out, literally has the word Gelmir in it, much like Mount Gelmir. And when translated, Vergelmir means fireflies. So this goddess Hel could be the inspiration for Mesmer, who is discussed in another video of mine, and if you haven't seen that video yet, please do have a look. I also want to mention these two things, Helfin's steeple and those who live in death. So first off, Helfin's steeple is a great sword patterned after the black steeple of Helfin, said to be the lampwood which guides the dead of the spirit world. The lamplight is similar to grace in appearance, only it is said that it can only be seen by those who meet their death in battle. And it is said that those who live in death, by Rogier.
There's something I must tell you. Do you know of those who live in death? The very notion of life in death defies the Golden Order. By Dee's account, these defiled fiends must be expunged. But truth be told, I seek the curse mark to save them. You may find this peculiar, but I discovered something in my examination of the Knight of the Black Knives. These souls have committed no offense. They have every right to life, only they happen to touch upon a flaw in the Order.
So could the Shadowlands be the spirit world where those who are seen as flawed are sent to by the Golden Order, by Marika? Another fact to back this statement would be how Miquella got to the Shadowlands. And we see that he got there by divesting himself of his flesh, his strength, his lineage, and all things golden. From this we can say that he is now a soul stripped of body, and he is also stripped of all things golden, now seen as a flaw to the Golden Order. So to complete this section we can speculate that the Shadowlands is the place of the dead, or where the dead and flawed go, and it is ruled by a lord, Mesmer the Impaler. Moving on, I want to now look at Marika. Now, what I find interesting is this saying, the place where the goddess Marika first set foot. What does this tell us? Well, I believe that Marika, when travelling to the lands between to become a goddess, she had to come through the Shadowlands. And who or what did Marika see and do here? First, we need to understand that Marika was made Empyrean. An Empyrean is a special being who is capable of becoming a god of a new age and forging a new order that governs the world. Certain Empyreans are granted their own shadow by the two fingers. These shadow-bound beasts are loyal to their Empyrean. Now, Marika, guided by the two fingers, was granted her beast, known as her stepbrother Malekith, and she traverses the Shadowlands with Malekith. Her mission was to prove to the greater will that she was a worthy god. Therefore, she defeated the Glowmite Queen, who could have been located in the Shadowlands, because as we know, the Glowmite Queen is heavily related to death, and she also has the Rune of Death. Marika, through Malekith, defeated the Glowmite Queen and took the Rune of Death from her. Malekith then hid the Rune of Death in his blade, so it couldn't be stolen.
Oh, death. Become my blade once more.
Once Marika had the Rune of Death, she was named Queen Marika The Eternal, the current ruler of the lands between. This is when the era of the crucible Erd Tree transformed and birthed the golden Erd Tree, and possibly kept out all that was impure, or of the era of the crucible. And thus Marika commanded the Erd Tree to conceal the Shadowlands with a veil. And the beginning of the Golden Age, the golden Erd Tree, all was removed, all those who were seen as a flaw by the Golden Order, and they were sent to the Shadowlands. This is somewhat confirmed by Miyazaki in an interview with Famitsu magazine, saying, "The Land of Shadows is the place where Marika became a god, and the Golden Tree was born." So once again, we know that Marika became a god, and the Golden Tree was thus born. Looking at all that we have discussed, and discovered and connected through the lands between, I think we're going to see some very cool action in the Shadowlands, and there's going to be some mega lore unleashed. I also want to just take a minute to say, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, do hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching. Farewell.